Something good going on in this Pat's neighborhood.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Miss Pat's Neighborhood. I'm your host, Pat Mathison, and as promised, today's episode will be both informative and entertaining. My first guest just happens to be my friend and my neighbor, as well as the Vice President of External Affairs for Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. He also brought the CEO of Goodwill Industries, Miss Amy Luttrell, with him to share some exciting news about the industry's move to West Louisville. My hidden gem this week, I've known all his life, and I'm proud of the entrepreneur that he's become. I want to introduce you to my cousin, Mr. Daniel Eddings, the owner of Major Muncheez. And our entertainment today will come from creative performer, Miss Brandi LaShay. Listen, you don't want to miss this show. Stay tuned.
Some people refuse to do this to a good Funyun, but if you take a Funyun and put a damp paper towel on it and put it in the microwave for just a little bit to sogify.
That's an official word now. He just made that up.
To sogify your Funyun. Well, hello everybody. My name is Ken Jobst and I am here with my wife,
Elisa Lee.
And I've got to tell you what, I'm so excited to have you back to Taste and See on SSC Live TV. I've had some of the best pickled stuff ever in the history of food. Pickled cucumbers, right?
Which are just usually regular pickles.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in. Today, I am excited about the guest on this show, as I am always, but in particular because one of the guests today is my friend and my neighbor, Mr. DeVone Holt.
Thanks for having me, Miss Pat.
Thank you for being here. And he brought along the CEO of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, Miss Amy Luttrell.
Yeah, so glad to be here. We appreciate you having us.
Thank you so much. It's always a privilege for me to have community partners on the show that can talk about some of the exciting things that are happening right here in West Louisville. So I want to jump right in.
All right.
And I want to give you the opportunity to share the good news.
There's plenty of good news at Goodwill, no pun intended. But Miss Pat, you've known me for a long time, and
yes.
I've shifted jobs and careers, and most recently have landed at Goodwill Industries of Kentucky as the Vice President of External Affairs. And I tell people I started there on May 13th, 2019. And then on May 14th, our CEO, Amy Luttrell, came into my office and said, our board wants us to find a home in West Louisville. Do you think you can help us find one?
Wow.
And we started a search and have found a home.
Yes.
It's exciting. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. And so we've purchased 20 acres on the corner of 28th and Broadway, the old Cypress Solutions Tube Turns property.
Yes.
That we plan to turn into what we call an opportunity campus, where we'll use that 20 acres to help transform lives all around West Louisville and throughout the state.
Amen. Amen. And so, Ms., do you want to add anything?
Yes, absolutely. So DeVone mentioned what we're planning on calling the campus, Opportunity Campus. And the reason we've chosen that is because that is really what Goodwill is all about, is bringing opportunity to people who really have a lot to offer and really want to do great things in their lives, but they need a hand up, a helping hand, a new opportunity. And so we try to, through what Goodwill does and partnerships that we have, to open up those opportunities so they can really show what they can do.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know we're all familiar with the property, the old Cypress property.
Right.
It's been long abandoned.
Yeah.
And, you know, somewhat of an eyesore.
Doesn't look
in our
very good.
community. So it's really promising that you all saw fit to invest in West Louisville. I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of investment coming to West Louisville. But I got excited because everybody knows Goodwill Industries, and Goodwill has been doing great work in our communities across Kentucky forever. And so it's really, you know, makes you stop and take notice. I'm a longtime West Louisville resident. I work in West Louisville. So to see all of the investment that is coming into West Louisville, it excites me, and I think that it's cause for everyone to get excited, you know?
It is. You know, Miss Pat, I don't have to tell you, I'm just like you, a resident in West Louisville, but also a champion for West Louisville. And I picked up a lot of that from Dr. Kevin Cosby, who is one of the greatest champions for West Louisville, and really found an appreciation for what West Louisville has to offer that's often overlooked and undervalued. And fortunately, Goodwill saw fit to make an investment, really to kind of find itself in stride with what Goodwill's all about. You know, we think about Goodwill in many cases. People come to know Goodwill because of the retail stores.
Right.
And those retail stores, I tell people, provide second chances. They provide second chances for donated items to make their new owners happy.
Right.
But beyond that, Goodwill manages programs and services that provide people second chances, people who are looking to rebuild their lives. And so we support that whole notion. But then when we move to 28th and Broadway, we get a chance to give a 20-acre brownfield lot a second chance at being a community asset. And so that's what we're really excited about. We kind of find ourselves in this rhythm of continuing to provide second chances and proving that things that are often discarded still have a lot of value.
Yes. And you know, and when you talked about community asset, we've been throwing that term around a lot, but it's really all about community asset building. And building from within. And that's what I appreciate so much about this move of Goodwill Industries into the West Louisville area. And you know, I know a lot of people do associate Goodwill with, you know, that's where I take all of my discarded items.
And we want them to keep doing that.
And I do. And I mean, I visited several of the Goodwill locations, and you can tell that the process is being improved. I mean, because now you can just drive up, they'll come and take the stuff out, and they got your receipt ready for you. I love it. It makes it so much easier when tax time comes. But I also like, and you know, we've had the people come on and talk about the Goodwill Cars to Work program. And so there are so many programs that I just don't think people know about. And that's what I want to make sure that we do here in Miss Pat's neighborhood, is expose West Louisville to some of the things that they may not already know about as far as Goodwill.
Well, I will tell you, that's Amy's baby.
There's a lot to talk about. And I want to make sure also that everybody knows that we're pretty much statewide. We cover 103 of Kentucky's 120 counties.
Wow.
But the headquarters is here in Louisville, and we've got bricks and mortar and services in many communities across Kentucky. We've been here for almost 100 years. We've been here for 98 years, so we'll be celebrating our 100th here in a couple of years. And we've been helping people get jobs all of that time in Kentucky. But for the past several years, we've been under a new strategic plan, and we decided to give that strategic plan a name. That's the first time I've ever done that. And we called it Reducing Poverty Through the Power of Work. Because what we decided to do in that planning process was to really broaden out our services and connect more with other community entities so that we could do more than just help a person get a job, but help bring resources to them to stabilize their lives. And that Cars to Work is one. You know, if you don't have transportation, it's pretty hard to be a reliable employee. Same with housing. If you don't have a good, safe place to stay that you know where you're going to rest your head that night, really hard to be dependable on the job. So we have partnered with other organizations and we've identified all of the different barriers that people so often have because there's some common themes. And how can we bring something to help resolve that barrier so that person really can move ahead. Because people can get a lot of people that come to us, they've gotten jobs before, but they can't keep their jobs because they don't have the stability yet in their lives, or they don't know what an employer expects, or they can't get a good enough job because they don't have the skills that are needed. So through those partnerships, our services are much broader than they've been before, and we'll stay with a person for as long as it takes to go through that first job, get into a career, and really have the kind of life that they want to have. So we will be having a resource center in West Louisville, as we'll have in 2 other places in this city, because there's so many people that live in Louisville. And then we'll have a lot of classes and other services that all address those barriers that we see so often people having.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm excited. I think this is going to be, I really do think it's going to be a game changer for West Louisville. I think that, I think that the opportunities that are being poured into West Louisville are going to really impact the lives of the residents that live here. And you all heard it here, so they're getting ready to turn 100 years old, and they'll, when is grand opening at the?
Well, so we're in the process of determining ultimately what will be on the campus. So I love to share that this process that we're in right now is having us engage the community to get feedback from them about how Goodwill can be a good neighbor when we move into the community.
Okay.
And so we want to understand what people believe the challenges and barriers are, what the opportunities are in West Louisville for Goodwill. And we're taking all of that into consideration as we develop an ultimate plan for that campus.
Okay.
And so we're going through that phase for another month or so, and then ultimately we'll start pulling together a plan, putting together a vision for that 20 acres with the hope that ultimately towards the end of the year, early next year, we'll begin construction is the hope, and we'll see ourselves moving in once that construction process ends.
Okay, so we're more closer to the 100-year
Exactly.
celebration.
We might very well have that grand opening in 2023, our 100th year here. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That'd be exciting, right?
Yes, yes. Well, I thank you so much for joining me, but I also thank you all for the work that Goodwill is already doing in West Louisville and our surrounding communities. So I just appreciate you all taking the time to come and share. We'll have information about how you can reach Goodwill Industries in case you are in need of services. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we
Pat,
leave?
I'd just love to say that if anybody is interested in staying informed about what's happening with Goodwill, particularly in West Louisville, we've developed a website specifically for that project at goodwillwestlouisville.com.
See how much they care? Just for us. What is it again?
goodwillwestlouisville.com.
goodwillwestlouisville.com.
There you go.
So if you're in need and you want to just keep up with what's going on with the project for Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, be sure to log on. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. DeVone Rondo, host of Healthy Mind, Body, and Spirit. Welcome to Season 2, where we have numerous topics that we'll be talking about this year, including stress, COVID-19 vaccines, depression, high blood pressure, diabetes, and numerous other topics that are pertinent for us, the African American community here in the Kentuckiana area. Be sure to join us every week right here or on demand at ssclivetv.com. SSC Live TV. It's TV our way.
Welcome back. And in the quest to make sure I encourage you all to support Black-owned businesses, today I have with me a very special person in the form of my cousin, Mr. Daniel Eddings. However, everybody else knows him as Baker Dan. And he is the owner of Major Muncheez. So if you've got a sweet tooth, you definitely want to know who he is. Hey, Danny.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Good. So I wanted Danny to come on today to talk about his venture with his company, Major Muncheez. So Danny hasn't always been a baker. Now, he comes from a family of bakers.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure that's where he acquired this craft from.
Right.
But, so tell us what initially made you start with Major Muncheez.
Well, I hate to be honest, but it was the pie kitchen. I have my fiance now. We went to the pie kitchen to purchase a chess pie, and it wasn't to our, I guess, eating standards. So she was like, "You know how to make chess pie?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." She was like, "Well, make one." So I made it. Next thing you know, she told me to take a few down to her grandmother's for Thanksgiving, and that's how it all started. You know, everybody wanted to know who made the pies, so I became the baker guy.
Well, that is very interesting, and you know, I know that you know, your grandmother Jamesetta was a baker.
Right.
I know
right.
Sherry can
Stayed
bake.
in the kitchen
Yes.
with her, yeah.
So it's not a surprise. Right. But what made you actually go into business? I mean, it's one thing to just bake for people, but to actually set up your own business.
Well, I had I've been at my current job, will be 14 years in November, so 13 years and some change. And the plant manager had a review meeting with me, and my supervisor at the time had offered me a lead position. Mm-hmm. Well, come to find out, the plant manager along with another supervisor kind of didn't like that idea. And when we had a meeting, he told me that it would take 5 years for like a reconsideration. And at that moment, I knew that I had 5 years to handle my business to get up out of that company. So that's what started me that's what prompted me to start the business. So, yeah.
So it's that you sort of were motivated into this.
Yes.
Motivated into Major Muncheez.
That's it. Motivated to work and being my own boss and setting my own standards. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so you bought a few little treats here, so
Yes,
I want you to talk about those. But then I also wanted you to talk about, you mentioned the chess pie, but some of your other specialties, because if you're on Facebook, you can see all of the goodies that he creates, and as he's creating them, which I think is really an
I try to show
process.
him that it's all from scratch. So, you know, my motto when I first started was, I do it the harder way. So, and it's only me, and you know, I've had a few reviews where, you know, people were kind of angered at the time, and just things that I've never ran a business. I never been to school for business. I never been to school for baking. So I'm 100% from scratch, 100% self-taught, and I'm taking advice and rubbing elbows with the right people to understand business and how business works. My banker told me that I did everything backwards. Like, I came up with the name. I had my son-in-law from a previous marriage come help me with my logo. So that's how the Major Muncheez came about. And it just, everybody giving me tips and pointers, but I just didn't know what I really needed to do to take it a little further. And now I got that information, so we're going to take it a little further this year.
Well, it's wonderful. I think it's always a great thing, especially when young black men look at entrepreneurship, because that is the best way to go. I strongly applaud that. And I encourage you to keep going.
Yes,
I think it is a wonderful venture. If you are looking to try some of Major Muncheez sweet treats, then how can they reach you on Facebook?
You can go to Major Muncheez, M-A-J-O-R, and you have to spell the last name M-U-N-C-H-E-Z on Facebook, and you can go to Instagram, Major_Muncheez, same spelling, or you can contact us at area code 502-975-9773.
Okay, and we're going to delve into some of these sweet treats. He's got lots of, he even has apparel, sweatshirts,
Yes,
T-shirts, calendars. I mean, he's on fire. So I encourage you all to take part, participate, get you some sweet treats for your sweeties or just for yourself. It's okay to indulge every now and then. Thank you so much for coming and joining me, Danny. Shout out to his mom, Sherry Eddings. Hey.
Hey, Mama.
But thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be right back with a special treat from Miss Brandi LaShay.
Hi, I'm Minister J. Renee Williams, the host of the program Real Talk with J. Renee. Real Talk with J. Renee, where we discuss controversial topics right here on SSC Live TV. So please be sure to join us every week on demand, ssclivetv.com. This is SSC Live TV. It's TV our way.
All right, Louisville, as promised, the entertainment will not disappoint today. I want to introduce you to Brandi LaShay. She is a second-year grad student in the African American Theater program at the University of Louisville. Check this out.
The Prince of Peace, shot. Blood stains the concrete outside room 306. A worker tries to wipe away the blood, but not before Jesse baptizes his hands on the balcony floor. The baton passes on. Memphis, burning. D.C., burning. Cities, burning. Vietnam, burning. Coffins coming home. Another Kennedy killed. The baton passes on. Bayard Rustin, Stonewall riots. Andrew Young, Julian Bond, Bob Marley redemption songs. Fred Hampton, I am a revolutionary. Assata Shakur, Angela Davis, Afro Picks, raise black fists. Olympics, the baton passes on. Black children and white children and Crayola colored children together in the cafeteria. Roots, the Jeffersons, Sidney Poitier, Isaac Hayes, Superfly, James Brown. I'm black and I'm proud. Jesse for president. I am somebody. Crips, Bloods, blue, red, white, crack, tracks, smack. Reagan wins the wink again. Berlin walls, apartheid falls, Robben Island sets Mandela free. Rodney King screams, can't we all just get along? No peace in the Middle East. Ruby D, you sure lives ugly. Spike Lee, Rwanda bleed. Bill Clinton, nigga, please. Baby Mamas, The Cosby Show. Soul Train, Montel, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Run DMC, BET, MTV, Walk This Way, and on to the break of dawn, the American song. We shall overcome. A white Bronco flees into the night. If it don't fit, you must have quit. Clarence Thomas, Colin Powell, Ron Brown, Tupac, Oprah, Biggie, crack corners on Crenshaw to MLK Boulevard. Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, Condoleezza Rice. The Twin Towers in the sky turns gray. September 11th, one bright morning day. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove the Chevy to the levee, was drowned. Katrina, Superdome. McDonald's, diabetes, NBA, high-paid slaves, children of the Nile, nuclear 8 Mile, black picket fence, Jenna 6, American flags, black presidents. The baton passes on. The baton passes on. The baton passes on. The baton passes on. Thank you. Thank you,
Always something good going on in this F's neighborhood.